Okay, we are live. Hello everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Skill Horizon official YouTube channel. And today we are having one more session for this Dev Breakdown series. And today I have Gungun with me. Welcome Gungun on the channel.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So, Gungun will be delivering some knowledge with you, and it is not just a tech talk. She will be doing some demonstration so that that particular topic you will be able to understand. So, before we start, I just want Gungun to tell everyone about herself, like what is her Salesforce journey and in which company she is working right now. So, over to you, Gungun.
Yep. So thank you so much, Sanjay. Firstly, for very thanks to you for letting me in for this day breakdown series. So hi everyone, myself Gungun, and I'm working as Salesforce developer in Sierra Cloud. I worked around different clouds, which includes sales, service, and education clouds and experience clouds. I have worked on both Salesforce configuration, Salesforce development, which includes Apex, LWCs, flows, data security, all of them. And yep, I'm very excited for today having this session with all of you guys and hope you all get understood by I think or maybe some get some learnings. Yep. Over to you, Sanjay.
Yeah, obviously, because I already worked with you in Sierra Cloud, so I know the way you learn things. And
Yep.
the main motive, Gungun, behind inviting people every week, so that because famous people are everywhere, but those who are doing good things and not so much famous. So I just want to bring them on YouTube so that they can also feel like if we share knowledge with the community, so how it will feel. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
sure.
So with that note, I think we can move on to the next slide. So I just want to share this information with you guys. Gungun, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So this Dev Breakdown series is happening on every Thursday, 8 p.m. IST, and developers and architects will be coming every week in front of you. They will be sharing their knowledge, will give you some technical knowledge, and will be showcasing some uh, demonstrations as well so that you understand that concept very well. Okay, so on next slide, I just want to highlight Skill Horizon. So we are Trailblazer Workforce Partner. So if you or anybody in your circle wants to do any job readiness program for Salesforce, cybersecurity, AI, ML, or data science, so you can visit this website and you can go through with the courses that we are running. And on next slide, you will see like we are just delivering our job readiness program in 3 different steps. We explain the concepts, we guide them so that people can do hands-on and then work on the real-time projects. And how to follow us. So on next slide, you will have the QR codes. So with this, you can follow us and you can reach out to us. Okay, so with this note, now I just hand over platform to Gungun so that she can talk about the topic and do some demonstration and you will be able to understand. Over to you,
Okay.
Gungun.
Yep. Thank you, Sanjay. So, yep. Hello, everyone, once again. So, in today's session, we are going to know about more about Postman. What is helping Postman? How Salesforce is related to the Postman? What is the features of Postman we can see? And as perspective of demo, we have in the 3 parts. First, we'd like to know that how we can connect Postman and Salesforce. We use some standard APIs to test that how it works in between the integration. And lastly, we have the final demo of connecting two orgs that how it works. Okay, so let's quickly start with it. Yep. So firstly, we have the introduction of Postman, which all most of you know that it is a comprehensive tool, or we can say that is an API platform that streamline, or we can say simplify the process of building, configuring, developing, testing, and also documentation of the APIs. We can done in only one the use of one tool, or we can say only use of one platform, which is Postman. Now, if we talk in terms of collaboration, in collaboration, we can say that let's say you are working in an organization where are two different teams which are using two different workspaces which are working on different requirements. So on that part of collaboration, that each team have to that particular resources access, we can do by using the Postman also. So how this has helped Postman to be in collaboration, right? Now come at the second question, that why we use only Postman. So at the first, we can say that Postman have the user-friendly UI, which is explanatory, and whenever any user are come to or contact with the Postman. So that is the first most important feature of this Postman. Secondly, it automates the manual task. In the manual task, if I'm talking, like let's say you want to run any API, or we can say you don't want to write any code, you can directly use some standard or default APIs that is already in the Postman. You can use that and utilize your requirement, anything you have, or utilize your business process. This is how we mostly use Postman. So this is the quick introduction of Postman. If we go to next slide, yeah. So this is the basically the life cycle, we can say, or usage of Postman, what it does. So it is, let's say first we take the inner circle or inner layer. So in the APIs, in terms of APIs, we mean that how we can create an APIs, like it kind of private, it can be a public, a legacy, or a partner app, anything that you want, it will cover in Postman. Second layer, if it comes like API lifecycle that I already mentioned or explained, that is how we can design it, how we can develop it, how we can test it, and how we can document them. Right? This is all covered in the API lifecycle. Right? Now with third, in the collaboration term, which I already explained, to sharing and creating different workspaces according to their different teams. Last layer is the governance. Governance layer, we can see, is the most important layer, which helps in the authorization, or we can see in the terms of security. There is API security. Whenever you are connecting with a third party, they need the authorization, the security to reduce the risks, right? This is covered in governance layer. And the last layer is like a combination of all the three, that what types of area that covers in Postman, which is CI/CD tools. We can cover also cloud, you can source control, you can set APM. APM is like application performance monitoring, like how the API is working, what is the performance of that. We can monitor that, how it is working, what are the response we're getting. All this we covered in APM. So this is all around the life cycles. So yep. So third, we have what we can do using Postman. These are the features we can say. We can send request, we can get the response, we can write a test scripts, we can do any test automations, anything that we can do using Postman. We can do the API documentation, and we can, most importantly, we can do the integration using Postman.
So I think, Gungun, this Postman will be useful for QAs, developers, or
Yep.
if someone is particularly working on integration, like as an integration developer or tester.
Correct. This is the most important feature, Sanjay. We can say that Postman is feasible to like support both the developers, both the testers,
Right.
like that. Yeah. So let's we move forward. Yep. Now we talk about like how Postman using Salesforce, right? So first one is the most important, like whenever anything you want to connect with a third party, you want to get some responses from third party to the Salesforce, or if you want to send your responses from Salesforce to another third party, we can use Postman because it is a user-friendly interface and it would helpful and it would be easy for us to use. Right? Second would be integration, validating that integration flow. Let's say I have something in my Salesforce that having the integration flows, or something like I'm getting the response from the third party. To validate that, I can use a Postman as a bridge of that to give me the response that I am getting a correct response from third party or not, or the third party is secured or not, or it would help in the governance also. This is the second use. Third is the monitor API. Monitoring API limits and something like that. Let's say we have different objects in Salesforce. We can check their limits, that how many records we can create, what are the storage of that particular, or everything that we have is we can use in using Postman. This will the API limits, you will get to know more about demo. We use a default and standard API limits API that will get the limits from the Salesforce. And the last one is the most important. We talk about the authentication, the authorization, the headers, everything we can set in our Postman and we can send to a third party or Salesforce, whichever whenever we want to connect. Okay, that is all about. Yep, these all are the things that you are going to learn in this particular session, that you will be getting your org ready, your Postman ready with yourself. So you can do a session with me also, and after that it is recorded also, Sanjay, so everyone can do after also.
Right.
So we'll load the Salesforce platform APIs. That is a standard platform APIs which is provided by Postman only. So we'll use them. Third, we'll connect our Postman and our Salesforce, and we use some basic APIs. And the last one is we are connecting the two orgs. So these are the most important. The three last points are important for the demo, which we are doing. So these all are the things. And this is all the use cases that after you getting any knowledge from this session, anything you get, you can practice these use cases. You can use in your real time, and you get will be happy and will be joining with that cases. Okay. Yep, Sanjay, from the slide side, it's done. We'll be moving forward with the demo now.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No, I think if you are doing the demonstration, then people will be able to connect like how actually it will be like Postman and Salesforce connection happens, and how actually developers and QAs test the APIs. So I think this is a powerful tool if we go for the integration side. So this is a mandatory thing. Every consultant who is associated with Salesforce ecosystem, they should know about this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we can move on to the demo side now.
Okay, thank you so much, Sanjay. Okay, so this is the org I have for my sample org. Okay, now first we'll do the step of connecting Salesforce and Postman. So right now I am on my Postman. If you don't have, the first two steps will be creating and downloading the Postman, and after that you need to create an account. For account, you just need to fill the required fields that is needed, the email name and all, and this UI will be open. I already downloaded it. I'm skipping that part. Okay, after that, we'll create a new workspace for it. As we see that we do as a collaboration part will be covered in this steps. So we are creating the workspace. I'm giving it the name. Postman. Internal created. Yep, as you can see, now my workspace is created. It's named come as Salesforce to Postman, which I gave it. So this is my UI of the Postman. Now, which I'm saying that there is a standard APIs, which is already in Postman is the Salesforce platform APIs. These are the set of some standard APIs, or we can say a demo APIs, which Postman already give to you for the usage, right? Now, if I click on this, yep, this is the API, right? This have all the different parts. We have authorization, we have bulk, we have REST, we have SOAP. In this, if we go to nested, it have different options, right? Now, we want to use this, right? Now, for using this, we don't directly use this. What we do, we'll create a fork during it. We can say fork, or in a Git terms, we can say it like in cloning it, right? By cloning it, and then we are using it, right? Because we are doing our changes in it. So let me create a fork for it. I'll say as Salesforce. We create a fork. The workspace we need to click select it, which will we are created, and we click on fork collection. Correct. So this is the all the overview page we have, right? Now we set up our Postman, we get that standard platform APIs, we created the clone, and we can see that on this side we have our cloning Salesforce platform, which we created, and it is the name of the fork, right? We created. Now what we need to do, we need to connect the Postman and the Salesforce. So for that, we need to go to authorization, right? Whenever we are connecting to any third party, authorization plays an most important role to be authorized for that particular third party. If I talk in like layman language, or we can say a human example, so let's say whenever you are going to your office or any office or company, then you do your biometric to get the authorized to office, to get the access to different things, right? This is plays an role of authorization here, right? For this, what we will do, we will click on get new access token. It will redirect to a page. Right now, I am already logged into my browsers having Salesforce accounts. So it will direct me, ask me for the options for allow and deny. If you are not logged into any or in your browser, it will ask you for the username and for the password, right? So if I click on allow and if I click on open Postman, make sure whenever you are doing, after clicking on allow, it will ask you for the pop-up. Always remember to allow for that pop-up. Then the authorization would be completed. Now I click on, here you can see the authorization authentication is completed. If I click on proceed, got it. I got my access token. I got my access token name. There, what is type of access token we have? What is the timestamp, that how many time it will be valid or it will be going to be expired, right? What I need to do, I just need to copy the instance URL, because when we hitting the any request, or we can say whenever we are hitting the API, that need an instance URL. And now what is instance URL in terms? I can say instance URL or a base URL is something whenever any third party want to connect or want to hit, right? Let's say I am getting some records using Postman and I'm hitting that. Then I need to paste that instance URL. So whenever Postman is trying to get anything, it will hit on this URL and then do the different steps, or we can say the next steps in the API, right?
Yeah.
So we'll copy this instance URL and we'll store in our Notepad. Yeah. And we'll click on use token here button. That it token would be set for our authentication, right? Now I click on use token. So you can see it show me your token is edited, right? Now I edit my token. Now what we need to do, we need to go to variable, and variable, we have the endpoint, right? In the endpoint, we need to paste that instance URL, that whenever any API from Postman will be hitting to Salesforce only. So for getting that Salesforce URL, we are setting that endpoint, right? Right? And we're done with that. Okay, now to validate it, what we are doing, we have some basic examples. So let me begin with you can use the REST and SOAP one. I'll go in REST. The limits which I'm talking, let me do this. And let's see, I'll send it. So you can see this is the API which is created. Now endpoint is which I set it for my Salesforce op. Service and data are the default parameters we have. We denoted the version what we had. And limits is denoting that particular API. What is it about? Here you can set your methods. Just get, post, put, patch, delete, head options, different. And now we are getting data from Salesforce. I'll click on send. And we'll receive the data. What are the maximum size? What are the remaining size? What are the current async get report instance and everything, right? This is how it works. This is for limit one. Let me do another example. Okay, let me do for a record count. Okay, here you can pass the parameters, right? The params include the parameters what we are passing. So you can see this URL, the endpoint, service, data, version are same, and we again using limits. So there are record count which is in the under the limits. Now we can see in the record count it will run as a query, right? Like an SQL. You can pass the S objects on which you want the records count, right? Let me pass opportunity as well, right? It will set defaulted here again, and if I click on send, it will give me the response, right? You can see there's object count. From count, we have 13 accounts, we have 20 contacts, we have 22 leads, and we have 31 opportunities, right? So basically, this is how you can connect your Postman and Salesforce, and you can utilize these Salesforce platform APIs, which is default set and which is totally free for your practice. And you can do and you can test it, you can run it, you can develop it according to your requirements and according to your business process. So these are some basic. If you go to S object, we can query records, we can create records. Let me give you one more example of create. So what we are doing, we will create a record of account. Okay. Now all we know that for account we have one required field which is name, right? So anything you want to pass for that, we will go to body, and you can see here it is already set at that variable in JSON. So if I pass Sanjay and I will click on send, you can see it create one count. If I copy this URL and if I go to my Salesforce org, which is this, and we can go to accounts. You can see this is the account which we created today only using Postman. Yep. So this is all about we connecting the Salesforce. We can use the Salesforce platform APIs of default APIs, and you can utilize your practice. You can increase your learning and all. So this is the two parts we covered for the demo. Anything, Sanjay, you want to add? Any feedback?
No, I think this was good demonstration. So initially you just connected Postman with Salesforce, and I think all the steps are clearly demonstrated. So guys, anybody, if you get a chance to do integration testing, so you can just follow the steps, connect the Postman,
Correct.
and she also explained like how you can create the record, right? Post and get, both the things she explained. So I think few more examples you are having, right?
Yep.
Okay.
For that platform APIs default, we have these examples. We'll jump right to the connecting to orgs now.
Okay.
Yep. So for this one, we have this. Now for connecting to orgs, let me close this one. We'll move on to this. Okay. So for connecting two orgs, I have two different orgs. One is this one, and second one is this one. Okay. Now, why are we connecting two orgs, or we can say why we need this scenario or something like that? Let's say there is a requirement where you have two different orgs, right? And in one you have your REST method, or maybe we can say one is sending the response and one is requesting for that particular response, right? Now, let's say in the second org that we cannot do it by some reasons, so we need to perform integration between two orgs, and we need a response from other org. This kind of requirements we are done using this, right? So for this is the first org we have which are going to send a response, right? And the other one, which is this, is are responsible for sending a request or requesting for any particular data, right? So first we set up our org which is going to send a response. Let me go to send. Okay. So basically in Salesforce, whenever any third party who want to see our records, or we can say who want to share our records, or we can say we are sending our data to any third party, we should use a application of connected app, right? So connected app basically works an application as in place of Salesforce to be connected with, right? Like any third party who wants to connect, they are connecting to the connected app or as well as the Salesforce. So Salesforce will be connected app will be work as an image of that Salesforce only, right? So on the previously, what is happening whenever you go to App Manager, you can see the option here. But right now, by the Salesforce upgrades, they have some external client app options. So now for connected app, you need to do an additional setting, which is external. We'll go to external client app setting. And I am clear now.
Yes, I think it was from my side, not yours. So if you can just go back and then explain about that
Yep.
button once again. Yeah.
Sure, Sanjay, sure. So basically, I'm explaining about more of the connected app, that how it works and how they are helpful for us, right? So in terms of integration, whenever any third party need to connect with Salesforce, or we want to show our Salesforce data to some third party, we use connected app, right? The connected app plays an image of Salesforce, or that any third party need to connect it to that particular connected app, and they are directly connected to Salesforce via this. So this is the most important, we can say, use of connected app, right? So in the meantime, before time, what is happening, that we have an option of connected app in the app manager only. Here you can see we have new Lightning app, and in that we have a new connected app. But now there is Salesforce upgrade. They upgrade the changes. Now it comes an option like a new external client app. There is a different, or we can say an additional requirement or additional update they have. So for now, we are not able to create from here. What we need to do, we need to search for external in setup. We need to click on settings, and here you can see the option of connected apps. Now it is not in direct option is available. Once you toggle this, then it will available to us. If I off it, it will gray out, and if I'm on it, it will show me the option to create a connected app. Okay. Now, if I click on new connected app, it will fill the required details. We do Salesforce.
If you can little bit zoom in.
Yep, sure. Is it fine, Sanjay?
Yeah, little bit more. Yes, now
Yep.
it is okay.
Right, Salesforce. We can give it API name also. We can give my email for it. And we on this setting, because whenever we doing, or we can say whenever any third party are connecting to us, we need to authorize them. Are they are less risk? Are they are governed? Are they are secured or not? That we need to confirm. That's why we enable this setting. And in the auth scope, or we can say access type of access we will give, is comes under own scope, that what kind of, let's say the third party is connected to Salesforce, right? Now what type of access you need to give them, right? Let's say you entered in your company, or you entered in your office. Now what types of, like, meeting rooms, conference rooms, cafeteria, on which kind of area you want to give access to them, are coming under both scopes, right? So for our demo, I am giving the full access one. These are the default access we have, or we can say these all which I am taking it are the default one. We can take this, we can take main user data API, and this one, the refresh token and percent. So yeah, these three access which I mentioned here are the basic ones, we can say, or are the default ones which we need to use for connecting any third party to Salesforce, right? Which is full access, manage user data via APIs, and perform requests at any time, right? And this is and we require the callback URL. Now, if we come to callback URL, so callback URL is something that whenever your authorization is completed, after that the user should be redirected to that particular URL, right? That URL that needs to be set it, which is URL of that particular or we can say that particular third party who are sending a request, correct? For now, we are not set up that part. So I am adding a dummy URL in this. Once we set up our second or, which is sending a request, we'll get that URL from there and we'll update this. Okay. So I am setting as an like Google's URL, and I'm pasting it here. Okay, we'll fill all the required fields, the name, the API name, the email we fill. We check the checkbox of auth setting. We give the particular access we need to give, and we set the callback URL, right? The rest we can leave as same, and we click on save. It might take some time, and we click on continue. Got it? We created our connected app successfully, right? Now whenever you created a connected app, when you click on manage consumer details, it will give me one verification code that I need to add to my email.
Maybe you can check on the phone.
Okay. Let me check in my phone.
Yeah.
Will verify, right? After the verification, what it will give? It will give me a consumer key and a consumer secret key. Now, how these works? It let's say whenever you are authorizing in your office, like whenever you do your biometric, like how the system will know that it will be you, it will be Sanjay, it will be Gungun, how it will. You need to put that entry in it, right? So consumer key and a secret key plays in the same role for the second door, that we need to give them these keys, that whenever they are connecting with this or this connected app, they know that yes, they are secure, they are authorized with my consumer keys and my consumer secret keys, right? It will be, we can say, worked as in password, right? So we have this, and for this, yeah. So are the first org which are sending the responses set up. Okay. This is we get the consumer key, the consumer secret key, we created connected app, we're done from one side. Okay. The response side is done. Now, if we go to our second org, which are requesting the data, what we are need to do? First, we go to setup, right? And we will create oath provider, right? The oath provider, we can say, work as an authorization layer or the between bridge, where you can set your consumer keys, consumer secret keys, and you will get an callback URL, right? We'll click on new. We'll set a provider type is Salesforce, because in provider type, we will select on which you are connecting with, right? Because after we create a node provider, we will create a name credential, and after that, it will hit to that particular URL whom you want to connect, right? So we are selecting as a provider type is Salesforce. We is giving Salesforce. Oops. We paste that consumer key and secret key we got from that. I am copying this, go to my second org, pasting my key, and doing again, copy my consumer secret, pasting it here, right? Yep, and in the default scope, we can set the default scope, the old scope we selected. We got the bracket names that is used as a nickname, we can say. If I come to manage connected app again on the back screen, yep. Yep, these are the bracket names, or we can say a nickname we can use, we can set in our default scope when we are creating the oath providers. You don't need to write your whole name like manage user data PHP. You just use that bracket names with the space, or you can specify your default scopes. I'm using this one, the full one. Last two is the refresh one. Once saved. Any other field we miss? No. Click on save. So we get our authorization done. Provider, right? Now you can see we are here having a callback URL, right? That is going to be hit here for the authorization. So we are copying this callback URL. We go to our connected apps again. We click on edit, because we need to remove that dummy URL of Google we pasted, right? We are removing this and we are pasting it here. Okay, so it will verify the authorization. On continue. So we are good to go, right? So this step is done for the authorization provider, right? Now we created our first org setup. In the second org, we are done with the authorization provider. Now it comes the second step, which is name credential, right? So name credential and a remote site setting, what I explained is something when any third party we are connecting to it. Let's say for this org, I'm connecting to other org, right? So this org is responsible for sending request, right? Now for sending request, we are having two different options. One is remote site setting, one is name credential. Now, what is the main difference? Because they both work the same, but the main difference in between them is remote site setting is a free API, or we can say the free hand where no authorization is needed. We use remote site setting, right? Which is less risk, which we don't need more governance, more security. We can move with forward with remote site setting, but when it comes to the terms of governance, in terms of security, we'll adopt name credential, right? So in this case, we created our auth provider. That means the security we also needed. So we'll be going forward with name credential, right? So I am creating here new legacy. We'll be creating name credential. Same steps, we need to fill the required fields. I am giving the label as and name credential. In the URL, and in the URL you need to paste the URL of that particular org that can take it on second. Step. Not in step, but yep. In the URL you need to paste the base URL of it, right? So you can directly take it from the URL here, but there is a different way which I need to add for it. So what you can do, you can go to your developer console and you open your executor window. So there is a static, or we can say there is an epic static method to get your URL. Get our URL. We'll paste it here, and if we do it like system.debug. So what I am trying to do is I'm just getting my org's domain URL for connecting to it, and we'll click on open log and we'll execute. So this direct method will give me the URL of my org. If I click on debug only, so I get this URL, right? I will copy this. I click on OK. We can close this one now. And we'll paste it here. So this is our URL. We get certification. It's not needed for now. If we click on identity type, so it is name principal. It's set, and authentication protocol is the same authentication. Auth 2.0. Here you can see it asks for the authorization provider, which we created. Salesforce, and if I search, so this is the authorization provider we created. We click on this and selected this, and we click on save. Correct. Now in clicking on save, why it is logged out? Because as we know that in auth provider, what I selected provider type as Salesforce. Now I need to connect to Salesforce. If I selected any Slack, any Postman, so it will get me to the login creds of say Postman or Slack, right? I selected as a provider type of Salesforce. Here I need to provide the login credential of the org which is sending the response, right? Because we need to connect the name credential with that particular org which is sending a response, right? So I am putting my creds. This is, I'm denoting who is sending the response as org A, and who is sending a request will be denoted as org B. Click on login. It is all the access you can see, which the default scope I set it, which is full access, which is manage API. The three scopes we selected, all the three scopes will cover this type of accesses, right? It is asking me for to allow for this. I click on allow. So what is it is saying in this process that all these type of access you are going to get it from this org, right? And if I click on allow, log this confirm. We are back to our second door where we created a name crypto. So you can see the authentication is completed. We done as authentication as this, which is the org A. We created our name credential. That is done, right? So we created for this response org, we created our connected app to be connected. And in the second org, which is sending a request, we'll set up a auth provider and we'll set up a name credential for it, right? Now let's move forward for the demo that how they are connecting or is it that working for it. We'll do. Maybe you go to developer console of first org, right? Now we go to developer console. Now what I am doing, I am creating a REST method in my this Apex and will get the response in the second org, right? So here you can see that this method is already here created for it. Yep. I'll copy this one and we'll create a new Apex class for it. We'll say it SF. Click on OK. This one from here. Here. This one here. We set it as low, right? So we click on save. Click on save. Correct, right? So what I did, I write an Apex method to get account of this particular org, right? Now what I did, I created a REST method. For creating a REST method, we need to denote as a REST resource. We need to set an URL mapping. So what is worked as URL mapping? If we remember that in the Postman, I show you that services slash Apex REST slash. So this URL mapping is a unique ID, we can say a unique key that verify that yes, you are calling that particular method of Apex, right? This helps in calling that particular method. After that, we create a global class. Why are we creating global class? Because this Salesforce, we need to be connected with different doors. So that means that need to be global, right? So we create a global class, we create a global method, which is written type is list, and we run an query that give me that particular account where annual revenue is not null, right? And we are returning this. Got it? I'm saving this, right? So from the sending response, it is done. Again, we go to our second OR. Is the second OR. We go to again the developer console. Now we need to send the request, right? We will create a new Apex class for it. It will be correct. We created this. We create a public method in this. Point. Get launch. We will initialize our HTTP. We initialize our record request variable, which we initialize this HTTP request is equals to new request like this. Now we have request. Now we need to add our endpoints. Let's endpoints is also same as Postman. We said in the Postman we don't need to add anything, right? That it helps in to reduce the manual task. In Postman we don't need to set any endpoints. That is already sent it. We just need to put our instance URL here. Now for this, what we do, we'll set our endpoint. We like small out. So basically, whenever the org or whenever your system is calling someone, or we can say getting data from the third party, you will be considered as a call, right? So this is how it works. So we set this call out and we'll pass the name credential name. Because why we are passing the name credential name? Because if you remember in Postman, what we do, we give the instance URL, which is already we set it, we paste it in the variables tab, right? And that are directly getting from the URL. So now we are pasted in name credential. So we are pasting his name credential there. That is this one, or this again services. We are calling the Apex REST one. And we pass that particular URL mapping we set for that unique ID, we can say. Take this one, paste it here. Right, I send the endpoint. Now I need to state the method. What type of method is that? So that is get method, because if you remember, if I show you the another epics, you can see here we initialize with HTTP get, and we are getting the reports, right? So we are set method as get. As in Postman, if you can see, we set is here as get, post, anything you add, right? So this is how we are setting it in Apex. So in this, click on this, we have for response, getting response equals to HTTP send the request we have, right? So passing this request here, save it. Now we want to see the results. We put a debug here. And responses. Yes. Response dot get body, because body will have all the results. And we also check the system debug status of it, at what should be the stated. It should be 200 for successfully running. Which code? Let me save it and we see if there's any problem. Set endpoint would be important.
I think there is a typo E and D.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Sanjay. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay. Yep. So this is the method of call out. So I'm just typing and I'm just speaking. So I'm explaining once again. So we created an call out class for us. So in this, what we did our initiate our class, initiate our method, and we create an HTTP variable. This will be call out to that particular org and get that particular method into our org and will return the records of that particular, right? So we created our HTTP method. We created our request type variable. We set our endpoint. This endpoint is also worked as Salesforce this part. Here we can set, right? In endpoint, we have our URL, but in here, I use the name credential, by name credential, because it have that particular authorization. It also have that base URL for that particular auth, right? So all of the combination would be in that name credential. So we directly use that name credential instead of that hard coding the URL, right? The service and Apex REST will be the default one, or we can say the standard one. And this is the URL mapping for that particular calling, that particular Apex for the different of whom which are we calling up, right? We set our get method here, that what we are doing, like we are getting, we are posting, we are put, we are patch, we are deleting. This is the set method. And in the final, we created the response and we'll send that request, right? This is for this. And the system debug, we are validate that the responses are we getting or not, or the state, right? So this is, we are done. Now let me do the final check. We'll run this method by using an anonymous window. We are calling the class. We are calling this method. And we are click on open log, will execute. Click on execute, it will execute it successfully. If we go to debug, here is session expired. Let me generate a new. Yep. If you see this error, what you need to do, you will need to get the consumer key and the consumer secret key again. Maybe that will be expired. So what we will do, we will minimize this. We go to our Salesforce org here. We click on manage consumer details again. Refresh this. Yep, this is our the first org which are sending the response. We click on manage consumer details. It will again ask for the identification. Let me put that and get code 651. Enter. Will give me a new I'm copying this one. We go to auth provider again. Click on this. We click on edit. It's the same. Let me generate another one. Click on generate. This one. Okay. This one. This one.
So every time whenever this session ID will be this consumer key and secret consumer secret will be expired, so we need to regenerate and then we can use, right?
Correct. Save it. And we again try the same method. Move it and open it again. This will be this this one our name ebook. Click on execute. It's giving me the same error.
Okay, no worries. So I think with this, if session ID will be working, so we will be able to see the records that we are querying, right?
Yes, correct, correct. Yep. I think we need to check that we can get that new token one. Yep. Yes, it will show the records of that particular one, Sanjay. Yep.
Okay, I think you guys can try the steps, and like this is the complete implementation if you want to connect to Aux. So if you apply same process, like if you have the consumer key and consumer secret, so your data will be fetched from like in the target org, data will be available, and from source where you are running that method, so it will be fetching the data, and in the logs you will be able to see that.
Yep. Yes, Sanjay. That is the whole
Okay.
process.
Yeah. So I think majorly if we see two things you explained, if I summarize. So first one was the related to Postman and Salesforce connection, so that we
Yep.
can do get operation or post operation, and the second one was this Salesforce to Salesforce connection, and here I
Correct.
think you explained name credential, so that is also useful, and REST resource we created and that we called with like through another class, so global access specifier, all those things. So I think in 1 hour session this much you explained, so that was really interesting, and I hope many people watch this for the first time. So maybe I think if we ask everybody to follow this, so they should be able to do all these things, and if you guys wants to continue all these things, so on my channel, like a few sessions are already there for integration, so you can just go through with those also. Okay, so with this note, thank you Gungun for sharing your knowledge, and I think this was your first time on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So how was your experience? How, like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
can
it was like really great experience. Like first time getting connect with from people from all over the world and like explaining and first it would be like first knowledge sharing session also,
Yeah.
which I'm doing right now. I'm currently also working on integration, so I thought that why should not we do and share with the other people? So yep. And also thank you so much to you, Sanjay, for giving us this platform to be sharing that knowledge and to be like more confident about it, the things which we are doing. So yep,
Yeah.
it was really, really helpful for it, for me and also the people who are joining.
Yeah, obviously. So thank you Gungun for sharing all the knowledge, and maybe in future if you find something new, we can have a session on that particular topic.
For sure, Sanjay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Yep.
guys. Yeah, thank you guys for joining this session live, and thank you for those who are watching the recording. Next week I will be having some other guests, so they will be sharing some other topic with you. So keep following the session and the channel as well. And thank you. Bye everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.